All right, guys, so another pit bike video finally. This one here is pretty exciting. Just kind of happened, got my Christmas present a little early. There's a sneak peek of what it looks like. But today we're going to be doing a couple things. Here is a clue. Those are the old front forks. And then somewhere over here, there it is, that's the old rear shock. So we upgraded the front forks to KLX110L. Front forks, which are about 2.5 inches longer. The rear shock, we upgraded to a D&M 250-pound rear shock, which I'll go over and talk about in this video, but it shows it has fast and slow rebound adjustment. It has compression preload adjustment, so quite a bit nicer of a rear shock. Also, we get into a little bit of iced coffee, chocolate milk looking oil over there, so we do change the oil. As you can see, we got a little project going on the YZ250. But yeah, stay tuned here. Got a pretty cool video for the pit bike today. All right, guys, so got the bike all stripped down from what you can see completely. I even took the front fender off. Yeah, so the front we measured 34 3/4. To the front of the skid plate was 8 3/4, and to the pipe was 23 3/4. So we'll see what we gain out of the suspension change. I am going to put a shock extender in the back, so I can either go 2 inches or 1 inch. We'll see how it all sits in the end. Yeah, so already got the stock shock all unbolted here. So that's what we're working with. So as you can see, there is no preload adjustment. There is no rebound adjustment, nothing, just the stock shock. So we upgraded to a D&M 250-pound rear shock, which has preload adjustment and also has fast and slow rebound adjustment. So that should be good. I think it is a little bit taller than that. And then, like I said, we also have a couple shock extenders. Yeah, things looking pretty damn sweet. So in addition to a little bit extra ground clearance, it should be significantly better suspension. Yeah, bike definitely looks weird, torn down. Old parts. There's a TTR over there in the corner. Maverick and the big old YZ250. Just made this flag. Sell flags on Etsy. Imagine you've seen it in some of my descriptions, a couple of videos there, but pretty sweet Air Force flag. Make it on that CNC machine there. So anyway, I needed some washers to go ahead and get this adapted in here. As you can see, there's some play. So ordered those off T-Bolt. We just don't have any washers. Home Depot apparently closed early for a holiday party, so we'll hit this tomorrow and hopefully get the suspension changed over. All right, so a little bit of maintenance in the middle of this video here. I happen to notice through the oil sight on the other side that the oil looked like iced coffee. So we're gonna see what this looks like in a clear jar down here. I change the oil and the filter every 15 hours in this thing, so it's only been about 6 hours. So I can't imagine what the deal is, but let's check it out and see what we got. So. Look at that. That does not look good. Got a little bit of shit in there. Great. Dude, look at the filter. It's like it sucked mud into the motor or something. I don't know, I can't imagine, but good thing we're changing the oil. Oof. Again, what is that? I don't know, man, but make sure you're always checking your oil, guys, because you could find out, even though you just changed it 6 hours ago. All right, so taking a couple test drives here since I put the suspension on, and I'm gonna go ahead and insert a couple clips of me ripping on the first few test drives. Got fast and slow rebound adjustment, so trying to mess with it here. It's not that fun to bottom out, but this thing is way different with an extra 2 inches of ground clearance. It's like riding a big bike. Overall, this thing's super impressive so far. The front forks definitely gave us about 2.5 inches of ground clearance to the top of the forks, and also gave me 2.5 inches of ground clearance to the bottom of the skid plate. So a ridiculous difference in that. Amazing. The front suspension way better. The rear shock, though, we're gonna have to take it off and do some adjustments. So it does have rebound and preload adjustment. You can see there, that's fast and slow. So I messed with that quite a bit in the video. I don't know how much of that I put in the clips just now, but that helps a lot. But the spring also has a compression. So I'm gonna take that off, and the preload was all the way out. So it's the softest that it can be on the spring, and there's a lot of adjustment there. So I'm a little over 200 pounds, and this thing's way too soft. It bottomed out worse than the stock shock. So I'm going to show a little bit of that because I know I didn't show anything comparison wise. I was a little excited to get it on, but so yeah, that's the stock shock. This was the extender. There's no way that that's going to work. It was too much. So the D&M shock's a little bit longer than the stock shock already. Those are the stock forks. So the T-Bolt ones are black, which are pretty cool looking, and like I said, they do give you a good 2.5 inches. So my main complaint for this thing was ground clearance, and this really took care of it. I mean, it's, you know, it's plenty for what it is. Pretty awesome to ride as a pit bike with that suspension on it. You know, we're gonna go ahead and get this rear stuff off, adjust that, and I'll show a couple clips of that here too. All right, we got the shock back in there, and I got adjusted down quite a bit, as you can see, and there's a lot more to it, but man, is it a difference. It's like you'd have put that shock in there and you'd have thought it was a piece of shit at first. Now, even with just that amount of adjustment, you sit on it, it is great. You can actually feel that there's rear suspension. Super excited to see how it rides. So I'm gonna adjust that down quite a bit more. I don't have a spanner wrench, so just kind of beating it over with a hammer and a screwdriver, but check back here in a few minutes. Okay, I think we got it right where we want it. I adjusted it down about an inch and an eighth total, which was perfect. I mean, you sit on this thing, you'd have thought when I put this shock on there, it was a piece of shit out of the box. I mean, I took it for a ride, even adjusting that all the way from fast to slow, it didn't matter. I mean, it was really hard on the back, instantly bottom out, you know, nothing in the back end, felt like junk. I'm thinking, I'm gonna put the stock shock back in. But adjusting that down an inch, amazing. I can't wait to take it for a ride. So we're gonna get this thing back together. I might show a few final ride clips at the end of this thing. Also, I got a cradle to put on this thing, and I'm gonna change the oil one more time. So I might make that a separate video. We might just end this with the suspension. But overall, KLX110 TboltUSA front forks on a KLX110R and a DNM 250-pound rear spring and shock. Huge difference. Should be like the second thing that you do with a pit bike. Yeah. Really shows a true comparison of the ground clearance, the height difference. So that's the TTR110. Night and day difference.